We do have a story here that we've been sitting on here. It comes from, I don't know if he's got a name here. We'll just call him Chris.
Okay.
Says, hey again, Pop. It's time to tell my story now that I'm past the RP rage and back to my normal self. Gee, I wonder if that has anything to do with women who are too old for you trying to get you into bed. Who knows? I started dating around 16. I honestly had 5 relationships before I'd started being somewhat shaken awake. I'll be honest, most did end in infidelity on the female's end in those 5, but I wouldn't consider the cases as deeply scarring. 3 of them. My first taste of deep scarring infidelity was having an emotional affair play out behind my back in the middle of a 2-year relationship.
Oh, that's the worst.
I was told by a friend, and when I confronted her, she turned on the waterworks, and I still left anyway. Good. Women love to turn on the waterworks. They think it's a get-out-of-jail-free card. Don't fall for that shit.
Never fall for that.
I couldn't handle the stress of that looming over the relationship. Surprisingly, the next 2 were actually split when we realized we didn't have as much in common as we thought. Because of that, I was kind of lulled back into a false sense of security that it didn't always end that way. So I decided to continue. It was that mistake that led me to the first nightmare. One morning, I woke up to a girl I went to high school with in my Facebook messages. We'll call her Claire. It's a fat girl's name. At first, everything went nicely for about 3 to 4 months. Right about 4 months in, she asked me if I wanted to move in with her.
No.
Bad news bears. Mind you, it was nearly 1,000 miles away.
No.
Oh, well, she gets to have the guy pay her bills and isolate him away from his support system all in one fell swoop. Why not? However, you know how the story goes. Dick thinking took over. And I moved.
So you threaded the needle with your penis that they will use to stitch up your burial shroud.
And stitch their own vagina shut for you at the same time. They'll reopen it for Chad, Tyrone, Pookie, and Ray Ray, but not you.
I will never move in to a woman's place again. Because I did that walk of shame when I got divorced. And I'm walking down that driveway. I'm like, this is never going to happen again. I will never put myself in this position.
And that's why you no longer have a home. You have a lair. There you go.
That's right.
I got my spot. I'm not even going to cohabitate. I got a dog.
You're a perpetual squatter.
Yeah, like it's all good. Like I like my place. I had a girl one time. She asked me to move in with her. I'm just like, and I was divorced. I had a kid. I'm just like, are you out of your fucking mind?
No, yeah, let's put my neck in that noose again.
I won't even cohabitate.
He continues, I found out quickly that she lived on a farm with her parents. I know, bad move. I mean, ordinarily you hear something like that and you think, well, maybe she's somewhat based. Well, not always the case. However, again, at the time, I was still very much blue-pilled. Everything seemed to be okay at first, although I will say it felt like most of the time all I did was work on the farm or work at my job I had there. First red flag I noticed was she began talking about this guy at her job where she worked as a nurse at a retirement community. Nurses have a reputation for a reason. And he knows now nurses are a red flag. Congratulations. We'll call him Tony. A week after she began talking about him, we had a birthday party for her at our place. I had a little too much to drink that night, got seriously hammered, and woke up the next morning to Claire kicking me until I woke up. Red flag number 2. The final straw I found out was her mom had messaged my mom on Facebook and told her that I had constantly went to the bar and got drunk. The party was the first time I'd ever been drunk.
Wow.
After that, I packed up, called my uncle who lived nearby to stay the night at his house, and then moved back the next morning. A week after I moved back, after deliberating with myself, I decided I'd try one more time. What I didn't know is that I'd pay for that decision.
Oh, my God.
After a few months, I met another woman on a dating app. Yeah, I know. Dating apps are a bad idea. We'll call this one Leah.
Hang on a minute. All right.
Oh, here it comes.
What the fuck were you thinking? You just got fucking... God damn it! You just got fucked one time. Oh, I'm gonna get right back in line because guess what? My anus isn't stretched out enough. God damn it! Stop! This is so insane. You think, oh, this one will be different? No,
it'll be fine.
No, there's like 2.7% of the women you run across as per Aaron Clary,
Oh.
that are marriageable women. 97% of them are throat scrubbing whores.
Oh, scrubbing.
Come on now. Unfuck yourself. Sorry, man.
Throat scrubbing. Okay. And your dick is the wire brush.
It's more like the toilet brush.
Disgusting. Okay. You could ease back in here.
I'm sorry.
It's all
I
good.
went off.
That is why dudes tune into this show. They want the banter and they want the knife hands.
I have lost a lot of patience for stupidity.
Oh, I know. And by the way, fucked up and funny coming up after the break.
All right.
It's gonna be good stuff. We did it for around 2 years before we moved in together the first time. Wasn't
the first time.
Yeah. I just saw that too. It wasn't perfect. We argued on and off, had our spats. The worst of it was the constant nagging, the other N word. Yep. Jinx, you owe me a Coke. That drove me nuts, but I'd been through worse. Until I saw her phone one day, that is.
Oh, here we go.
Of course. We were lying in bed, and she was texting someone who we'll call John. She a pro? She always turned her phone away from me at the time, and I was pretty naive to female nature, still very blue-pilled and a simp, unfortunately. She slipped and turned, and when she did, I saw the texts. I won't go into exact details, however, I will say I saw her and John texting about her fantasies, ones that involved multiple men.
Here we go.
It blew up into a huge argument. She told me to leave, so I packed it up. This isn't the end of the story, however.
Dude.
We ended up staying friends.
Whoa.
You can't.
All right.
No.
Well, first of all, this is the way it works. All right.
It's a terrible idea.
If you have D to PC with a female, she can never be your friend.
No.
And that stands for dick to pussy contact. That happens at all. You're never friends after that. I'm sorry.
Done and done.
It just doesn't work out. You can be cordial. You can be polite. But, guess what? I mean,
you're not going to be friends.
No,
you're not going to the
happening.
game together.
But why do you want to?
That's a good question.
Like, where's that desire? Why do people not leave relationships done? Like, if you're done, be done.
Because they're raised by single mothers. They don't know the dynamic that comes from a masculine side.
Yeah.
Like, I can guarantee if this guy had a father, he'd be like, all right, yeah.
Because I've noticed that, like, I've had my marriage and I've had a couple serious relationships, but like when those relationships, when they were done, because a lot of people, they'll break up and on, but like,
no, that's not advisable. That's how
no,
you catch a charge.
when you're done, you're done.
That's right.
Yeah. And most of the time, if these chicks are attempting to stay friends with you, it's because they intrinsically know that you're kind of a simp and that they can probably still get free attention and resources from you down the line. It's actually a sign of disrespect.
That's right. And don't ever loan them money.
No.
Because you never loan a woman money.
It's a gift. You just don't know it yet.
We're just strangers with memories.
Yes.
He says, to keep in mind, I'm still very much a simp at this point. Go ahead and give me the knife hand.
I've already done that. Right.
And talked for a few months, and she had another boyfriend at the time who threatened to off himself if she left him, so she wouldn't leave him, and a whole bunch of other drama. I wouldn't believe a word out of her mouth.
Nope.
No. And if she is with a guy who's doing that, she likes being manipulated, and that's why you weren't interesting enough for her. Because you're a nice guy. Now comes another huge mistake. Oh, boy. I admitted to her I still had fifis. She ended up breaking it off with him. He didn't hurt himself. And dating me again. It went well for a while. Then we fell right back into the same old arguments over her nagging. I thought that was normal, and I was just supposed to accept it. No. A year later, after her having repeated stomach pains and such, we found out she was pregnant.
Oh my God.
I was overjoyed that I was finally going to be what I always wanted to be, a father. I can understand that. And honestly, that was the happiest point I'd ever been. The day he was born, I missed another red flag about 8 months down the line. Oh, boy.
There we go.
The bedroom went completely dead. And it wasn't for a lack of trying on my end. After about 6 months of that, I began looking for answers. One day I was looking on YouTube and happened to see a video of just pearly things reacting to a video called An Introduction to MGTOW by Sandman. All of a sudden, it was like a switch was flipped in me, and I watched more and more RP content by both her and Sandman. My eyes were beginning to open to female nature finally after nearly 12 years of dating and pain. Then the worst part. I don't know if she noticed I'd been slowly waking up or it had already been going on, but I came home from work one night and laid down beside her. She says, "We need to talk."
Kids, not yours.
Yeah. She then proceeded to tell me she was going out to lunch the next day with a friend she'd met on an app. I told her to let me sleep on my thoughts and we'd talk about it the next morning. I told her the next morning she had to choose, me or this new man. I also told her I didn't believe he was just a friend. She tried to shame me.
They always do that.
By saying, I didn't want her to have friends. Now that's what women do to you.
Yeah.
However, a combination of beginning to wake up to female nature and the poison in the back of my head from the time she texted John still resonated in my head, and I told her she had a choice. This friend or me. She chose him, and I left. However, I told my best friend about all of it. We'll call him Jim. He ended up showing me your channel, as well as Raging Golden Eagle and a few others. After that night, I thought my life was over. However, I began watching the channels he'd recommended, as well as continuing to watch Sandman. That led me not only to become full monk, it also led me to find my purpose in myself instead of looking for it in a woman.
Fuck yeah.
That's what you need.
That's right.
And ironically, when you do that, if you do that before you've reached this point, that actually attracts the women.
Is the child his?
I don't know. He hasn't mentioned that
All right.
specifically.
I hope it is.
Now, I still get to visit my son whenever I wish, as well as call him every night before bed. Good. My story did work out a lot better than a lot of others that I've heard. I'll admit that. However, I want to give men like you, Raging Golden Eagle, and others, Sandman, my best friend, a huge thank you. It was men like you guys that woke me up to female nature and what modern dating really is and kept me from wallowing in self-pity and pain. Now I live for my son and to help other men see the light on female nature and the RP. Thanks again, Pop. Hell yeah.
Thank you. I love these gratitude things, man.
Yes. It's all good.
Wow.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the meat caser box.